Good day, everyone. How is everyone doing on this? What is today? Today is Wednesday. Hope you're all doing well, feeling groovy, realizing the government does not love you, and also realizing that everything you've been told since the day you were born is a lie. It is July the 9th of 2025, 10:36 a.m., coming to you from the communist shithole known as Ontario, Canada. And what I'm going to talk about today is something that's not as much of an issue in Canada as it is in the United States. United States being, a place where they have the Second Amendment, which allows people to bear arms. In Canada, you are not permitted to do so, and they're even trying to take people's hunting rifles away from them here. So it's a totally different thing. But I just saw a video where a kid who was carrying a firearm anyway, in spite of the fact that it's not legal to do so, had to use it in self-defense because someone tried to stab him, and he pulled out the gun and shot this person in self-defense. So he's going to get charged. Well, he's been charged with murder and with carrying an illegal firearm. He was acquitted of murder, and they found it was indeed self-defense because this person was trying to stab him. So even though he got off on self-defense, he's still going to be likely found guilty of carrying an illegal firearm because he wasn't supposed to have it in the first place. But here's the situation. These were young guys too. I think the guy he killed was only like 18 or something like that, and he's a teen himself, I think. So if he wouldn't have had that firearm, he was carrying the firearm because he no longer felt safe. And the statement he made was that Canada had become like Iraq, and therefore he had to carry some form of self-defense. Now, just for a second before I get right into the main thing I'm going to talk about, I will say that I also started carrying something in self-defense, which I've never done in my life. I've never done that. Just went out and never even thought about it. Never, I don't carry anything on me. Never did. In the last year I started. Now I don't carry a gun, of course. I don't even carry a knife. I have something else that is legal to carry. I don't carry anything illegal. But I can understand what this guy is saying because it's the same deal for me. I no longer feel safe. There's a bunch of crazy people that they let into the country, unvetted people, just unfettered immigration. They let everybody in. They never checked out anybody's backgrounds. They let them all in. So now we got a bunch of lunatics running around who are dangerous to Canadian citizens. Now, most Canadians were very, very peaceful. We don't like violence. We don't like any of that. And most Canadians will say, oh, yeah, they're crazy over there in the States. Everybody's running around with a gun. No wonder there's so many shootings and things like this. Well, you can argue that back and forth both ways. Here's the problem, is that criminals have guns. They're not legal guns. They're illegal, but there's illegal guns everywhere. Okay, all over the place. All over the place. Not hard to get them. They're for sale on the street. You can actually probably go on the dark web and order one, and it'll probably get delivered to your house. It's not hard to get one. So people saying that they should take all the firearms from people in the States, well, that's the legal ones. Then only the criminals have them. That doesn't sound good to me. That really doesn't. That's the situation we have here now in Canada. I'll say I hate firearms. I can't stand them. I don't like them at all. I don't even like the sight of one. There's a Lynyrd Skynyrd song called Saturday Night Special. Mr. Saturday Night Special got a barrel that's blue and bold. ain't good for nothing but put a man 6 feet in a hole. That's the words to it. I agree with that. There's no purpose for a handgun, especially, other than to kill another human being. That's the only reason for it. Target practice for fun, I guess. People do that. There's gun clubs and stuff. You can, they set up targets and learn to shoot. That could be fun. But you can do that with a BB gun, really. You don't need a real deadly weapon to do that. High-powered BB gun, you can do some awesome target practice. But when the criminals have them, that's the problem. Why should law-abiding citizens be the only ones to not have some form of self-defense when all the bad guys are running around with firearms in their pocket? No, that's not fair. That's not proper. We can get rid of all the illegal ones too, sure. Then nobody have them. But then you're left with another problem. The military, the government, the cops, they all have them. Okay? But I'm not saying politicians walk around with them in their pocket here in Canada. I don't think they do. Maybe some of them do, because they live above the law. They do what they want. But they're controlling the military and the cops, and, if they want to get totally tyrannical and start going to people's homes and terrorizing people, whatever, people have no defense at all if they don't have firearms. This is why they've been trying to get them away from people in countries like Canada and Australia and New Zealand and the UK, and they've successfully, pretty much successfully done so. They have this buyback program, they call it. They're going to buy your gun from you, and they give you nothing for it. And it's a hunting rifle. If you have one in Canada, you've had to take a firearm safety course. I know, because the guy who owns this house, he has a bunch. He's a hunter. He's been hunting for years. He's never actually shot an animal. I think he just goes for the fun with his buddies. He doesn't want to kill anything. I make fun of him. So you're not a hunter. You're like me. You love animals. But that's beside the point. But he has a bunch of firearms, and he had to take a firearm safety course. There's a certain way you have to lock them up. You can't leave the ammunition with them. Very strict rules here in Canada. And pretty much everybody I've ever known who had firearms followed those rules. So these are law-abiding gun owners. And here the government is taking those away from people. Even though they're only hunting rifles. Why is that? Well, that's because in the future, the government does plan on getting extremely tyrannical. And they don't want the citizens armed when they do it. Because that'll be rough on them. That'll be... do you want to go to somebody's house and start being a tyrant if they're all armed in there? No, that's not so good. Especially if they're in the house, they have an advantage. You're the invader. They can stick one out a window and, So they want to unarm or disarm all the citizens, and they have. In Australia, they did long ago. What they do is they have a mass shooting event, get the public all, oh my God, we can't have these guns anymore, we got to get rid of them, and everybody freaks out. But the whole thing is arranged by the evil ones in the first place. We had one here in Canada. It was in Nova Scotia. Ridiculously shady mass shooting event in which our RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, my buddy used to call them Royal Carrots and Mashed Potatoes. They were obviously involved in this. They hired Hell's Angels. They were involved in this. There was a Brinks worker that was involved in it. Brinks Armored Security. It's shady as can be. They let the mass shooter run wild for 9 hours. Didn't even seal off the perimeter. They let him go. He killed 20-some people or something like that. And then what's the first thing they say after that's all over and they apprehend the guy? Well, that's it. We got to get rid of these firearms. It's an excuse to disarm the public. Most of the mass shootings in the States, same deal. It is arranged by the CIA and DARPA and whoever, and the purpose of it is to get everybody, oh, these guns are dangerous, terrible, we got to disarm everybody, trying to get the public to accept it. Most of the public is very well aware of why they want to disarm them. And as one guy, Charlton Heston, said, from my cold, dead hands, that's how you'll take my weapon. I don't blame the people for feeling that way. Who wants to be the only one without a weapon? You know, I don't feel very safe here because of that. All the bad guys got them. And I'm not allowed to have one to defend myself. So I'm a sitting duck. That's how the Canadians who have sense in their heads feel now. And it might not even be firearms. A lot of the immigrants, they like machetes. That's their weapon of choice. They've all got them. Like, if someone's coming at you with a machete, that's almost as bad as them coming at you with a firearm. You're in trouble if they've got a machete and you don't. Even if you do, it's whoever's more skilled with it is who's gonna come out the victor in that. So I am not a promoter of firearms. I hate them. But the unfortunate reality is the bad guys got them. And by bad guys, I'm including government. That's the bad guys. And because they have them, I think it's only proper if everybody does. Maybe if everyone had one, that's a preventative measure in itself. Best case scenario is nobody has them, but I don't know how you make that happen. There's so many illegal ones, don't know how you do it. So please don't think I'm a promoter of violence, and I'm anti-violence in every single way. I despise it. I despise firearms. I despise machetes, knives. They're selling knives down at all the corner stores around here now. Make them all pretty blue and red colors and nice little designs on them, fancy handles. Every time I'm in there, there's someone buying, and you look at the guy buying one, what a dirty looking, disgusting character he is. And I wonder to myself, as the guy who owns the store is selling it to that degenerate looking dude, does he realize what he's buying it for? He's probably going to go out and mug somebody and rob them or something with it. That's probably what he's going to do. Like, they don't care. They make profits, so sell all these knives. So now everyone in Canada is walking around with those in their pocket. Crazy. Crazy. So, in conclusion, I'll say, if nobody has them, that's the preferred situation. But if the bad guys got them, I think the good guys should be allowed to as well. May God be with you all.